How's it going, people? Kyprotonic here. Today I have a OU Pokemon Wi-Fi battle against an opponent called Toxicdash. Anyway, quickly looking at the opponent's team, potential threats that maybe stand out in this game might be just the Haxorus. What actually caught me by surprise is that Medicham, which will probably be explained a little bit more during the game itself. He has a few walls that just need to be dealt with. But overall, my team should be fairly good enough to handle the rest of his team, so let's begin this. So I'm actually trying out something different today, as you can probably tell in the fancy theme background. Thank you, Pokemon11, for actually showing me this. It's actually quite cool. You know, you can actually change the background of the scene. You know, it's pretty better than having like standard old crap all the time. So anyway, I'm going to lead with Tyranitar, my opponent's going to lead with this Medicham. I actually didn't realize this is actually a Choice Scarf Medicham to begin with in this game. Here I go into my Gengar just because I predicted the high jump kick, and yeah, that kind of didn't work. He actually goes for the Drain Punch, but I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball, whilst he brings in the incoming Chansey. Didn't want to over-predict, and now I'm going to go straight back into my Tyranitar because I fancy getting my rocks up against my Pawn Star, apparently so. And yeah, in comes this Rotom here once. I was a little bit surprised to actually see this Rotom, but I guess it kind of caused my team a little bit of a trouble because, yeah, I don't know why, but I really don't know how this thing just became a bit of a nuisance and how much a pain in the ass it was actually to deal with for some reason. But yeah, I get Trick Choice Specs, he gets a Chople Berry. I'm going to have to switch out. I'm going to go into my Landorus because I don't know, I kind of thought maybe he would switch out there. Or even Volt Switch into something, I don't know. I was kind of like playing two minds of one that's once there. So I'm going to have to switch out. I'm going to go into my Emerald because my Skarmory, because I don't want to lose my Landorus. It's actually a decent threat to most of his perks because that's actually a substitute variant. So yeah, I was actually unsure if this Fortress would just actually proceed to go for the Surf Rocks to begin with, or even just a Rapid Spin actually to, you know, blow away my entry hazard. So that was actually a bit of a dumb move. I should have probably Whirlwind the Fortress there. And yeah, even so, it would have actually Rapid Spin my Stealth Rock, but or even braver done something else than like laying up laying a Spikes. That was a bit silly, to be honest. So I mean, here with my Tentacruel, I go for one Toxic Spikes, and yeah, I should have probably Rapid Spin at this point just because I want to get rid of his entry hazards. Although like most of my team isn't really too bothered about it. Minus like my Tyranitar and my Tentacruel. Those are the only pokes that are going to be like pretty much damaged by the entry hazard. So here I go for Sludge Bomb against the incoming Rotom. Grass Form it once again, and my opponent goes for Thunderbolt and does get the Paralysis, which absolutely sucks. I actually didn't want that to happen, and you know, that sometimes does happen. So here I'm going to make a direct switch back out into my Tyranitar not to take another Thunderbolt. I don't want to lose my Tentacruel because there is actually a small chance that I could Rapid Spin some of those entry hazards away later on in the game. I kind of thought he would stay in here and just proceed to go for Leaf Storm with the Rotom once again, but yeah, it does a lot of damage, but because it is a Tyranitar and it can take like those type of hits, it's going to be able to take out the Rotom. So in comes the Medicham, and that's just going to go straight for the Drain Punch. I just left in Tyranitar to be a sacrificial lamb, and that kind of does give me the opportunity to bring in something else to take on the Medicham. So I go into my Gengar, and I go for Substitute, although I kind of thought he would bring in the Chansey. But I just wanted to try and test this Gengar out on this Evil-like Chansey. I've never really played this scenario before, so I kind of wanted to do it for the first time. So I know that the Evil-like actually does make the Chansey like a bit more annoying to deal with. I do have a Terrakion that can always be like a physical threat to that. But instead I just wanted to scout and see if he does have the Wish or Soft Boiled on this thing. And then I'm just going to proceed to disable whatever he just tries to go for, because I do have Focus Blast I think at max PP, so there is a chance I can try and take this out before the Sandstorm and Life Orb damage racks up. So yeah, this wasn't actually the best idea to do. I mean, I could have directly switched now out into my Terrakion just to scare the thing, but at this point I can actually just make the Chansey want to stay in, and you know, there is a chance that I may die before that thing does, but you know, yeah, it was a bit of a strange, like, situation for me, and a bit of a strange choice of decision to actually just do this for a couple of turns, which turned out I do lose my Gengar, and he does lose his Chansey. I could have just handled it with this thing, you know. I just wanted to test that out. Yeah, probably some people like, why didn't you switch into Terrakion, blah blah blah, and proceed to close combat, but I didn't want to do that. And now in comes my Terrakion versus his Haxorus. I'm actually going to switch out because I'm a bit worried that none of my moves would actually kill that thing. So he makes a switch out into Fortress whilst I bring in Skarmory. I'm going to make a double switch out into Tentacruel because I thought this time, you know, this is actually a perfect opportunity to go for the rapid spin, sorry. Because I don't really expect him to be carrying the Earthquake. Little to my knowledge, he does. So that sucks. So I don't actually get a chance to rapid spin any of those entry hazards away. But a good thing is now I can bring in Landorus, who is pretty much capable of actually going for a substitute, because I don't expect him to be carrying 2 physical attacking moves on that thing. Yeah, he might have Spikes, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, and even possibly Gyro Ball or Toxic Spikes, but I don't actually expect him to have the Gyro Ball, so that was a good thing. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Earthquake behind the substitute. This thing is kind of good once it's behind the substitute. He does go for the Dual Chop, which surprised me just because at that time he could have probably outraged and, you know, break the sub and then going to Medicham knowing that he can be faster and then actually make... I thought, yeah, I probably would have actually stayed in against this Medicham because, you know, I just thought maybe it would have been game over at this point. Or even so, bring in the Scizor after using Outrage. That was just a bit of a weird scenario, but it's actually a good thing for me because I actually do take out 2 of his Pokemon. Which, at the time, I thought maybe I was actually going to get beat about 3 or 4 of this game. Because, yeah, that Haxorus and especially that Medicham actually did scare me when it turned out to be a Scarf variant overall. So now I'm back in here with my Skarmory against his Scizor. And I saw the Sword Stance and I'm like, well, that's actually not a bad thing for me because, yeah, he can proceed to go for the Sword Stance and even attempt to go for a couple of Bug Bites, but I can always Whirlwind him out anytime and even Roost back up on most of the damage because I do resist both of his stab moves, so that's actually quite good. So even if he wanted to try and go for like +6 on me, even if I even let him, that he's not going to sweep me from that point. So what I decide to do is go straight for the Brave Bird on everything because, you know, Brave Bird in everything is never a bad idea. And yeah, looking at his last 2 Pokemon, I kind of thought now this is at the time I kind of do win the game. I just make a switch out into Landorus just on the off chance that I can catch the Fortress staying in. And if I go behind the substitute, because I think I might even actually saw Toxic Spikes earlier on. I can't remember exactly, but if he did decide to stay in there with his Fortress, Landorus would have had the fun and joy of actually finishing off, I guess, his last 2 perks, because behind the sub, I can go there, then just go for Earthquake against his Scizor. I think it's still about half HP, so I did actually expect the Earthquake to finish off at that point. So yeah, I mean, looking back on this battle, I kind of thought maybe I was actually going to get beat pretty badly because I did make a few other predictions. There you go with the Toxic Spikes, and I just thought maybe his team was just going to cause me so much havoc for some reason. I don't know why. But, you know, my Skarmory is always here to save the day for sometimes, and even my Gengar. So, yeah, he goes for the 2-layer Toxic Spikes. This is pretty much where the fun and joy of me just Brave Birding everything, and apparently it's 7 o'clock at this time. So, you just probably heard my alarm there. If you did, you did. Just quickly, like on my previous video, I did mention that I will be starting a walkthrough. I haven't decided what walkthrough I'm going to be doing, but it might even be one of the older walkthroughs that I've done before. I'm just still deciding because, you know, I do have a choice of games to play from, and yeah. I'll probably let somebody, I'll let some of you guys know in the near future what it's going to be, but at this time, yeah, the Fortress and Scizor is going to go down. So guys, please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the game, and I will catch you guys in a couple of days time with a brand new Pokemon Wi-Fi battle, and see you later. Bye bye.